Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Just me today, and I thought I will talk about Novartis. Novartis has recently acquired a company called Avidity, and I thought that's something interesting we should talk about because there's a lot of things happening in the biotech area, and should we keep an eye on it is the question. Because recently we saw a lot of uptick on the biotech ETF, which is up 2.6% since this acquisition, and it's up 24% since September, which is doing much better than the broader S&P index. So should we be putting our hands into biotech? Should you be buying Novartis now after this acquisition or this deal? Right now, it's trading at 99.6 Swiss francs in Switzerland, and as an ADR in the US, it's at around 128 USD. The PE in the US is at 18.6. The EPS is 6.95 US dollars. The dividend yield is 2.26, and the revenue as of now it's at 50.29 billion US dollars. Founded in 1996, it's a Swiss company doing a whole bunch of therapeutic drugs. Its biggest market is the United States. The second is Europe, followed by Asia. They're into oncology and immunology drugs, which are main two staples for them. Then they have some brands which they've established, which is also their stream of revenue. Right now, looking at the discounted cash flow and the relative value, I would say it's around 8 to 10% below, and it's showing that parameter alone, it's showing that it is in value, and should we consider it is the question. My only issue is with a bit of debt, and debt is always a problem in this current environment. And of course, buying Novartis in US or in Switzerland, you get to own Novartis India, which is owned 70% subsidiary of the parent company. So you get two for the price of one, which is always a good thing to have, I guess. The way we talk about Hindustan Unilever, Nestle, LG now, Hyundai, name them, they're all there. So taking this into consideration, should we be buying it? The recent deal which they did, their premium price of 42% premium, which is Avidity. They've paid 47% premium on the share price of Avidity on that day, and it is 88% premium on the pre-deal rumors. That means in August, before the rumors started coming about this deal, it was 88% lower than $72 cash which they're paying, and recently they were around 47% below the premium they're paying. Novartis is paying all cash $72 per share, and this has of course led to Avidity's share price shooting up to match what Novartis is saying. There are other companies, other therapeutic companies, which have also started rallying thanks to this deal, and most of these are in the mid and small cap. Of course, this is not one-off. There's been a trend which we've been seeing. Pfizer, mature, they bought for 4.9 billion, which is an obesity biotech firm. Then Bristol Myers Squibb, $1.5 billion in acquisitions in October. Then Novartis itself had bought another biotech company, Marlin, at $1.4 billion, which is a cardiology therapeutic company way back in September. So this merger and acquisition has been the trend for this year, and this Novartis deal is the largest this year. So all this said and done, why are they looking at this company? Why Avidity? Because the reason is they're trying to expand their neuroscience pipeline, Novartis. These guys have been working on 3 muscular dystrophy drugs, but this technology which Avidity has is a new multi-billion-dollar market is what Novartis feels. At least this is what Narasimhan, their CEO, has been saying, Vasant Narasimhan. And he feels that this is going to help them increase the CAGR by almost 1 percentage point by doing this. And the reason why it's multi-billion-dollar market is because there's a new tech which is involved, which this Avidity has, which is known as the AOC, and it's a next-gen RNA therapy. So it is able to send the medicine directly into the muscle tissue, which is very different from the way it's being treated right now. And this is why main reason why Novartis has looked at and is acquiring this company. Now, there are a couple of big questions. Yes, all I said is true. Looking at their discounted cash flow, looking at relative value, it is at a premium. We are getting a discount. It's undervalued by almost 10%. But like I said, there is debt. And there are a couple of issues which we should definitely take into consideration. Though the biotech scene right now seems to be the flavor of the month, and a lot of push has been there since September. Like I said, it's up 26%, the biotech ETF, and since the deal was announced, it's already up another 2.6%. The main reason is, of course, the Pfizer Trump administration deal that has given a lot of green lights to these biotech companies, saying that a deal can be reached and we can ward off any kind of blowback from the government. But a lot of small cap and medium cap in biotech space are starved for cash and they're not yet profitable. This is one thing. Two, we should pay attention to debt levels because of the high interest environment which we're in and the tightening of capital because of these high interest rates. That is something we should definitely keep in consideration. And if the FDA is not the same FDA it was before, so getting approvals and clearances is not as easy, or it was not the same rules as it was a few years ago. So put all that, then begs the question, why is Novartis paying such a huge premium? 47 to 88% premium is a large amount of money which they are forking out. So that, of course, they sweeten the pot to this extent to make sure the deal is approved, and shareholders of Avidity are eager to take this deal. But at the same time, what is Novartis getting is a question. This question has left a lot of head scratching because there's lack of detail when it comes to Avidity's financial health and the cash burn, and it also left a lot of questions open in terms of how much does Novartis itself need in terms of cash infusion once all this R&D is in place. This is why you've seen the share price of Novartis recently, after this deal has been announced, it's been taking a beating. So is this an opportunity, or is this something you should wait and watch? Is a question I wanted to propose to you. Are you looking at Novartis? Are you looking at biosciences? We have been talking about AI for a long time. I understand that. But there are other sectors, and bioscience is a sector which also has a lot of AI now, thanks to artificial intelligence. Researching and finding new therapeutics is much easier. We can run huge simulations like Willow. The quantum chip from Google is promising even more research into these kind of therapeutics. So is bioscience something you have in your radar? If so, which bioscience companies are you looking at? Are you looking at Novartis? I'm curious to know. So put it down in the comments and I'll have a look at it, and I'll definitely come back and let you know what I think about what you say. Thanks for being with me today on Be Rich. I know you guys miss Anand and would have done some macroeconomic talk, especially with what Trump is doing with Japan and what is happening with China. Is the trade deal done and dusted? And with India, what is happening? It is still out in ambiguity. All this, hopefully tomorrow I'll try and pull on, and then we can have a further conversation. I know gold prices is softening and we have seen it go below the 4,000 mark. There also is something curious which I thought we can talk to Anand about. Also, all depends on what the Fed does too. Anyway, thanks for being with me on Be Rich today. I hope you had a wonderful day and a wonderful evening. See you again tomorrow with another one. Thank you.